All right, we are live, and I have a very special guest. We got Tricia from Empyrean Fire. We finally got it together.
I
We've been
know, we
wanting to
finally
get
brought
this
it
interview
together.
for. That's excellent. Yeah, it's really great to have you on. And I just wanted to start by saying, how did you get into doing MDR, Metal Devastation Radio? How did you find out about it? I just want to talk about you do the Metalicious show.
Thank you. I was introduced to Metal Devastation Radio several years ago. I think at the time I was on Metal Assault Radio, and that station was going away. And so I was looking for a new home. And some of my friends who were over at another station, Brutal Existence Radio, went over to Metal Devastation, and they're like, hey, check out this place. And so I did, and I was kind enough to connect with Zach. And from that point on, it's been smooth sailing. He's, Metal Devastation Radio is such an amazing place. Everybody's so great there. And I'm really grateful to be there for sure.
Yeah.
And I love doing my metal show.
Yeah.
So much fun.
It's frustrating because like a lot of the US DJs, because obviously I'm from the UK, the shows are always in the morning, and you're no exception. Your show is 2 a.m. in the morning, so I've never been able to check out your show. Yeah, the old time differences, so that's a real shame, but never mind.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to do, especially like you said, there's a big time difference. Although, I feel like for me personally, I never sleep, so I should have no excuses for checking those shows out. I should,
What do you mean what do you mean you don't sleep?
I have a hard time sleeping, so
right.
I just try to read too much news or too many books. So that's a good thing that you just said that, because it'll inspire me hopefully to maybe put that down and check out some shows, because you're right. There's stuff going, even though it's midnight for me, it's not midnight everywhere. So
yeah, that's right. It's funny. I don't know if you remember. I have actually talked to you once. I remember you doing a test. You were doing a level test, and I remember I said to you, like, can you do a black metal scream for me? And
you did. God.
You did live and air.
That's awesome.
That was really funny.
That's awesome.
How long have you been on MDR now?
I think 3 years.
Quite a while. Yeah, I'm about 5 years now, so yeah, long nice. Time, but yeah, I love it.
Have you always been in the same time slot?
I think pretty much, yeah. Monday, 7 p.m. UK, which is 2 a.m. Eastern, and probably, what's that, 11? I think maybe Pacific, because I think you're 8-hour difference, which is crazy when you think about it.
Definitely, most definitely.
Yeah. I think I've always been in that slot, as far as I can remember, yeah. Yeah, this is quite good. I'm pretty much, I start the week off at MDR, so that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is really awesome. So how did you connect with Metal Devastation Radio?
There's 2 DJs that are on there called Demonized Debs, who does the show on Fridays, and the Metal Priestess, who does the show on Sundays. I've known them for quite a few years, and doing DJing around London, and we were all on another station called Planet Mosh. And similar to your situation, that they weren't a very well organized station, and we just sort of kind of jumped ship, and Debs found out about MDR, and about a month later I kept on with Planet Mosh, hoping it would get better, and then hopped onto MDR, and never looked back from there. It's cool.
5 years later, still going strong.
5 years later, there been some ups and downs, but it's been really cool. So I mean, your band Empyrean Fire, I mean, pretty much the standard question, like how did you get started with the band? How did it all start?
Honestly, it started a billion years ago with me reading. Actually, I think that I had looked at some artwork from Gustave Doré, and then somehow that artwork led me to the book Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained from Milton. And then I picked that up and started reading it and was like, man, what a great concept for an album. And, you know, so I read that, and I was also inspired by a lot of other stuff. You know, I started digging, and it's like one of those rabbit holes, man. You start researching and you just get more interested, and you find more symbolism and more this and that and the other. And the next thing you know, you have yourself a whole album, and it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I was going to say, like, I mean, the name Empyrean Fire is it something to do with the highest place of heaven or something like that? Where does the name come from?
You nailed it. I mean, above heaven is supposed to be a sky of fire. So that, you know, Empyrean Fire, it's the highest form, I guess, the highest of the high, and pure fire. So I like fire, and that's what a lot of people like to fire.
Yeah.
But that's definitely where I found the inspiration for the title, for sure.
Yeah, and I love the fire logo you have. I mean, was that your idea to come up with the kind of fire triangle logo, or is that something older?
So the sigil, a good friend of mine, I'm not sure if she's in Russia right now or India, but she's a brilliant artist. Her name is Victoria, and she does a lot of everything. She's just brilliant. I had reached out to her because I knew that she was doing artwork, and I really liked her stuff. And I told her the concept of the band, and, you know, the album, and that, you know, she understands that we like fire, and I like triangles. I like threes. And so she took that and she created that sigil. And, you know, it's fun. I need to, you know, we're Empyrean Fire, such a new band. I really want to work on getting some new, like, the Empyrean Fire done. Because right now that's just, you know, it's a very simple, and that's fine. I like that too. But for the sigil, it came from my friend Victoria. She's fantastic. I would pronounce her last name, but I'm horrible at pronouncing. She has such a really long last name. But if you're interested, you can just message me on Facebook, and I can connect you guys for sure.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, everyone has lots of fun with me trying to pronounce band names, and
Same.
I'm terrible as well. Yeah. Go on.
I was just going to say, there have been times where I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know that I'm going to butcher this. So I'm going to put it in my Facebook, or I'll put it in the chat room. I'll put it somewhere where you can see it, because you know, it's important to pronounce a band's name properly, because you want people to find them. You know, you want them to hear their art. And so I even remember I went so far one time. There's a local band here in Portland, and I kept mispronouncing their name, and I reached out to them and I said, can you please on Facebook record it for me so that I can say it properly? And then they did. And I went back on the air and I apologized for butchering the name, and I said it right. I was like, I'm sorry.
That's going the whole hog. That's really good. I just try to wing it and hope for the best, but
I do that sometimes too. I'm like, shit, I don't have enough time.
So I was thinking also, I was looking up that the ancient Greeks cosmology thought that we actually went around fire, like the earth and sun actually revolved around fire. So I found that interesting as well. Like, I didn't know if you knew that as well, but I just thought that was interesting.
I feel like creation is fire. I mean, it is just it. You know, with so much, if you study, or I mean, I shouldn't say study, I just read what I can when I can. But, you know, a lot of heat and pressure and temperature and different things combusting create some of the most amazing things. And, you know, fire is so beautiful, even in the very simplest form of just sitting out, you know, camping. I sit there and I watch the fire I
Me
can watch it
too.
for
I love it.
hours. It's just, there's something warm and very relaxing. And then, you know, you can see shit in the fire too. You know how they say they take the teacups and they read the tea leaves in the cups, you know, for fortune and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
You can, if you're high enough and you look in some fire, you can see some shit in there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of stuff.
Drawing you in. No, I used to love, I mean, there's nothing quite like sitting next. I wish I had a real fire in the house, like throwing a log on the fire and just watching, like, the fire keep burning. Yeah, I love that as well. There's nothing quite like it. And the colors and we all like fire. Yeah, cool. So you said the album, I mean, lyrically, you were inspired by Milton's Paradise Lost. I mean, do the lyrics kind of follow the story, or do you put your own slant on the lyrics?
Both. So they do follow a story, but I definitely put, you know, you know, my idea in there as far as, you know, I just, as I was reading them, I found, and I know this is strange, but I really enjoyed the way he wrote the poems. I love the words that he used. I thought they were very romantic. They were beautiful, but in the same sentence, in the same breath, they were also intense and pure, and they were full of vigor. And some of them were just, you know, you don't hear, you know, people don't speak like that hardly anymore. So I just, you know, reading that and reading the words and just really enjoying, I guess, understanding it too, because, you know, reading stuff like that, it's a little bit harder to understand, at least for me it is, because the words are so unique and so different from what I'm used to hearing and talking, that I had to push myself a little bit more to learn and understand. It was really cool. It does follow, you know, a storyline, but I definitely put a twist on there for sure.
Yeah, a lot of dark. Yeah, a lot of dark twists. A lot of dark twists. Yeah.
I mean, the story itself is dark. I mean, it is so dark. It's like here's your choice, A or B, and make your choice. And what's going to happen, you know, if you do A or if you do B, and what, you know, your you know, what your life would be like, or, you know, your choices, what will they bring you, or what will you have to do, or all those things. Just kind of like think about what you're committing to. Make sure it's the right thing. Put some thought, spend some time on it, because it's important for sure.
I mean, I don't know the Paradise Lost that well, but a lot of your lyrics on the album talk a lot about war. I don't know if you're talking about, you know, a spiritual war or and also humanity's downfall. I see that a lot in the lyrics and things like that, you know, all happy stuff, you know.
Right, you're spot on. You are spot on, and that's exactly, you know, I think a lot of times people can identify, if they might identify easier, I guess, if you have symbols like, you know, symbolism of Satan, you know, Satan and Jesus and battling. But honestly, personally, I take those because I battle. We all have battles with ourselves and things that we're trying to improve or trying to learn, or, you know, whether it's depression or addiction or, you know, whatever. I just think, you know, it is definitely a battle, and it's a war, and it's hard. And, you know, based upon your decisions, you know, that's what your outcome is. And so definitely, you nailed it, man. That's, you know, part of it. That's actually a huge part of it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I was worried that I might misinterpret the lyrics or whatever, but that's cool. So,
Yeah,
what are your influences like musically? I mean, I notice obviously there's a lot of like aggression, a lot of screaming, but there's also a lot of melodic breakdowns. You folk singing melodically and that. So, where are your influences from?
wow,
Oh,
that's
and
huge.
Jason as well. You know, the whole band.
We all at this point, it's just myself, Jason, and Brian, and we all have so many different influences for vocals. I mean, musically, I love, Emperor. You just can't go wrong, in my opinion. And Isan is an amazing vocalist. I think that it's hard to say. I mean, Jason is really into hardcore, so his direction is very, different from mine. And Brian, he is so, he's again all over the place. He does some black metal, he does some just symphonic black metal, he does rock, he does jazz. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. So
I notice his list in the Metal Archives. He's got about 100 bands on the
yeah,
go.
he's a
Yeah,
busy guy. He is. He's
yeah,
so talented. What I
yeah.
really appreciate about Brian is, I mean, all other than the fact that he is really talented, he's so professional. It's really nice to go have somebody come in and go, okay, sit down, let's do this, let's get it done. And he's really good at that. And I really appreciate that, because a lot of times, and there's nothing wrong with socializing and BSing, but when you get there, you're like, okay, we got stuff to do. Let's get our stuff done first, and then we can play later.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So, like, anything else other than Emperor? Any other music or
Um,
influences?
there's just a lot vocally. I mean, I love some of my favorite vocalists are like Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. I love
Amazing.
Michael
Yeah,
Ackerfeld from Opeth. I think,
yeah.
honestly, Michael, in my opinion, he's so talented because he can turn on that, and
Yeah.
then just immediately turn on this beautiful sound, clean singing. It's ridiculous. As far
It's
as
weird when I first
females,
heard that. When I first heard him do that, because obviously he started off just pure death metal. And then when I heard him do it, I thought it was a different singer. I
yeah,
was
same.
taken back
He's
by it.
Yeah, he is freaking talented. For female singers, like it's really crazy. The first female singer that ever really captured my heart was Skeeter Davis, and she sang a song "End of the World," and I think it was popular like in the early '60s. But her, Etta James, Janis Joplin, Madonna. I hate to say it, but I did grow up in the '80s. You know what I mean? And so
Yes. Well, yeah, me too.
and I like, a lot of like gospel singers, soulful. I like soul.
Yeah.
So those are vocal influences. I mean, for the band, like I said, Emperor, probably Dimmu Borgir. It's Those are the two
There's
that
so
come right off.
many.
There is. It's challenging because we all bring our own thing from our own influences. Like Jason would probably say something like, as far as guitar parts go, you might even hear a little like Heart Carry for the Sky or some maybe hardcore riffs in there, kind of, mixed in. And for Brian, he might say something like, for keys, Sisters of Mercy, or Dead Can Dance. So it's just really eclectic and all over the place.
Yeah, you can hear it though. You can hear it all. Yeah, cool. So it seems like you really slaved away at the your last album. It looked like hard work, but a lot of fun. I mean, how long did it take to record? It seems like you're quite meticulous.
Oh, and I'm not even the most meticulous one. Jason is the meticulous one, and
Yeah.
it took us 2 years. So I mean, 2 years actively like writing and recording and mixing and mastering. So it was a lot of, I mean, it's just, you know how it goes. You listen, you write a song, you like what we did was we put it on our phone and we went to the car and we listened to it on that speakers, went to the living room and listened to them on that speakers, went into another room. So we just tried to listen to them on different formats and, you know, try to turn this up, turn that down. It's just it's a piece of art, you know, just different format for sure.
Yeah, I suppose the only problem with trying to get something so perfect is like the next album has to kind of match it in a strange way, doesn't it? It's it's one of them difficult choices. But yeah, I mean, on that note, are you recording any new music? Have you wrote anything?
We have 3 new tracks, and they're just the bare bones because Jason has his project Eternal Valley, which he's finishing up that album, and Brian has one of his projects that he's finishing up. So as far as, you know, Empyrean Fire goes, we're holding out because we really want to perform live like nobody's business. We have written some songs. We've got the basic foundations for them ready. But we want to play live.
Yeah, like everyone. Obviously with the COVID thing, it's not possible for a lot of people, and especially with you guys being a new band. I mean, that couldn't have come at a worse time, I guess.
You got it.
Have you actually played live at all as a band?
Nope.
No,
not at all.
And what would you be doing about drums? Is it still going to be programmed, or would you get a drummer in?
We do have a drummer, Michael Thompson. He plays with Silver Talon and a couple of other bands here in Portland. We do plan to play live. So if we're live, he's going to be there. Myself, Jason, and Brian, we're going to fucking crush it.
That's awesome. And I believe you said you're Portland's only black metal band. Is that right?
Well, we're the only only active symphonic black metal band. So there are other symphonic black metal bands, but they're not active.
Oh, okay, cool. And when you hopefully play live, I mean, I don't know what it's like in the US. It's still pretty bad. In the UK, we're sort of seemingly getting things together with the vaccines. So cases are going down, and I think we're looking at maybe July, August that things may get back together, but it's all a bit crystal ball. We don't really know. But what's going on in America, especially where you're from? When's it likely that you'd hope to be playing live, or things getting supposedly back to normal?
It's about the same time frame as yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, our general majority of the public will be able to be vaccinated by May, or at least we can sign up to be vaccinated in May. And then hopefully, I would say August, September, maybe we could start looking at some live shows. I know that there are some scheduled, it's just going to be a matter of if we have that herd mentality yet. And, just people being careful, that's all you can do is just be careful.
That's right. I mean, there's a lot of planned gigs. I mean, there's a big music festival, Bloodstock in the UK, that I've got a ticket for. That's sort of August, so it's like a little bit fingers crossed with that. But we'll see how it goes. But I'm personally not planning anything yet. I'd like to see cases and deaths come like right down before even even consider planning anything. But hopefully soon.
Most definitely.
So you were saying about you're saying about how you really admire Michael, the way he sort of is able to do the growly vocals and then the melodic vocals. I mean, what about yourself? I mean, do you find live wise, will you find that transition hard to go from the shouty vocals to the melodic, or do you find it okay to do that?
It'll be a challenge for sure, because
Yeah.
you know, on this album, Jason does primarily most of the screaming, and I do all the clean singings, and I support him on a lot of the screaming and the vocals. So it's definitely something for me to work on, you know, as far as being able to take over that part of it, you know, completely. But I really enjoy, you know, having all of us on there. I think that being able to have so many unique voices, because you know, Brian and, you know, Jason, their voices are very different, but it's so much fun to listen to everyone on the same track do their own thing and still have it work. But I do foresee in the future myself taking over that completely, as far as, you know, the primary dark screaming vocals, for sure.
Yeah. Are you on the album, are you the high pitched screams mainly, or is that Jason? There's low growls as well, is it?
I'm definitely
you,
highs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm highs.
That's cool. It's amazing, like to hear that album and hearing you go from the screams to the melodic vocals. I mean, what do you think of the future of the band? Will you be going more into the more extreme stuff, or do you think you're bringing more melodic vocal in? What do you reckon? Will the band stay similar path?
I do think it'll stay similar. I would like to add more clean vocals, more of a, you know, a Dead Can Dance kind of feel to it. But I think primarily, you know, it'll stay very similar to what it is now. Yeah,
which is cool because it's awesome. It's aggressive.
Thank you.
You know, it's aggressive stuff. Yeah, and I mean, I love the transition. Like a song like "Corruption," for example. Like I really love the contrast between the sort of growls and the melodic vocals. I think it works really well on that song particularly, and Gathering Storm and songs like that. But I also really love like the full-on kind of heavy metal of something like what's the last track? Battle.
The Final Battle.
Final Battle, yeah. I like the aggression of that song as well. So it's like, yeah, it's a little bit of everything, isn't there? Like, you know, I quite, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that specific track, you know, when I was talking to Jason, because I was telling him this is the scene. This is the scene that, you know, if you're painting a picture or a movie, you know, this is where shit's going down, and I need it to be chaotic and intense and fierce, because you know, these two are battling it out and they have their own ideas, and you know, it's a lot of bloodshed in a sense. But yeah, it needed to be intense, chaotic, and wild. So I'm glad that you got that from that. It's one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, me too. I think, you know, I love Gathering Storm. Just the sort of funny enough, it's the symphonic side of that song. I like it's bombastic, you know, which I think I like. Whereas Final Battle is kind of like it's still symphonic, but it's almost like a straight metal song in a way. It's really aggressive, isn't it? But yeah, I like both. But yeah. Fun enough, we were talking about MDR and how much it's sort of a family. I remember when I was talking to Jason, when I interviewed Jason Aaron Wood, we were talking about you guys, because he works on one of your videos, and he worked on the visualization, didn't he, of your videos. I just think it's cool that Metal Devastation Radio is able to sort of get people together to do that kind of thing. It's not the first time. So how did that happen? How did you get hold of Jason to do that for you?
That was so funny, because I had just signed up for like Adobe Online, where you pay a monthly fee and you can get Adobe Photoshop and all the editing, like video editing and everything. And I'd been working on it for a month, And I don't care what anybody says. Those programs are not fucking easy to work with at all.
I bet they're not.
No. And I was just like, I can't, this is too much for my brain to even following YouTube videos, you know, how you just type in YouTube, need to blah, 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 blah. It wasn't working. So I posted on my Facebook. I was like, does anybody know anything about editing video? And Jason was like, I know a thing or two. And that's how it all started. He was there and he was amazing. Another person that I really appreciate because, you know, we had a lot of deadlines. And so he would go, okay, well, you know, when does this need to be done? How long? And he did it. And he was on time and it was amazing. And he's just a great guy anyway. And he's talented. And so, yeah, he nailed it. You know, it was just really cool to work with him and very easy too. Like he kind of, you know, just knew what to do and, you know, you just let him do his thing and he did a really good job.
He really did. And it's funny because he's quite new to that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He has way more patience than I do because I was like, I just can't do this. Oh my God.
Well, listen to his guitar playing. I mean, that takes dedication and patience as well, doesn't it? I mean, the man's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But humble with it as well. He's a great guy. Yeah. We all like Jason.
He's awesome.
And one of the cool things is that he likes actually when I was interviewing him about them YouTube things was you asked for some black fire. And he was able to do the black fire, and it does look really cool, actually. Like, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he's talented. I don't know how he did it because I tell you what, I tried and it was not working. So he was able. He's very talented. I love his music too. He's another person who has such a wide range of just talent. You know, he could play a very clean, beautiful acoustic piece, and then the next thing you turn around and it's just this really raging, hard, just intense guitar, and really some beautiful pieces. So yeah, we're really lucky. We have so many talented people to, you know, work with, and they're very helpful. You know, so that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, his albums are all pretty different, really. I mean, he's like you say, he's got a pure sort of flamenco acoustic album. He's got like a doomy album. He's got like a death metal album. He's got all sorts. Right now, he's getting into the sort of brutal death metal. So I think he's trying to do a sort of piece by piece, do a sort of death metal album, which is quite different for him as well. So it'll be interesting to see when that comes out. But like it's difficult, like everything, it's difficult money wise, isn't it? I mean, he was saying that it's really not good for him to try and record lots of pieces and try and record one album. It's a lot easier for him just to record one album and release that on his Patreon and then build up an album. It's tough for people out there now, isn't it? You know,
very.
I mean, how has Empyrean Fire coped, like trying to get your album out there and you know, sold or whatever? It must be difficult.
It is so very difficult. Yeah. Very difficult, and you know, like you just said, competition. There's so many bands out there, so much music. How do you get your music into the hands and to the ears of people who might enjoy it? You know, word of mouth, just constantly doing, you know, your social, you know, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, and playing live shows. I think that's gonna, you know, it's such a big piece of the pie that's missing right now. So you're not underestimating when you say it's hard out there. It is really hard right now, but we just got to keep, you know, we love it. We love what we do. So we just have to keep doing what we got to do. And that time will come when we will finally get on the stage and have a good time.
Yeah. It's funny because like the modern internet age has made hearing music a lot easier, but it's also made it quite saturated, doesn't it? Like, well, obviously when we were growing up, it was like word of mouth magazines, that kind of thing. Now, yeah, you can just click a button and hear some music. So you got to try and get yourself in amongst all that. Yeah, it must be quite tough, you know. Yeah, but like you say, although at the same time it's funny because still the old-fashioned way of playing live is still probably the best way of spreading your word.
Yeah, I think too, you know, it's just really cool to. I feel like, you know, I love listening to albums. I love listening to records, but I feel like the live version of that is so much more impactful, and you know, you just have an experience paired with your favorite album because you just went to their show and they fucking killed it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, there's something to be said about having, you know, that live experience with it too. Definitely.
So what's the Portland scene like for metal? I do know of one band out of there because I played them on my show, Tanagra, which are like a sort of power metal band. So, but what's the scene like? Is there much of a scene?
Right now, it's pretty quiet, but we do have a lot of music. That there's so many bands. You know, we have Iwata, we've got Silver Talon, Ceremonial Castings, Empyrean Fire. There's just, of course, Petrification. There's a lot of bands, but you know, nothing really going on at the moment, just because you know, people, I think, mostly are writing. They're, you know, really focused on the creative part of it and using this time to do that, so that way when the gates of hell open up, we're all going to be storming in like nobody's business, so we can play some live shows.
Yeah. One thing I've heard from all bands is they can't wait to, they're going to really, like Gravehuffer was saying it as well, like we can't wait to play live. It's just, we're going to absolutely kick ass playing live. I think people are really I think the early shows of, like, if anyone can catch the first shows after COVID, they'll probably be the best shows you'll ever see. Because I think people are so like wanting to play live, they're probably going to be the best shows ever.
I have to agree with you on that. I mean, there's so much, when you enjoy something so much and you don't really have an outlet for that, you know, it's hard to, you know, adjust, because you have a, you know, for me at least, you know, I used to go to a lot of shows, and that energy that I would spend at the shows, now I haven't had the opportunity to express it, you know. So when they are available, it will be a great moment for many, 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 because I'm sure we all have this pent up energy that we were like, oh, we gotta get it out.
Bands. Yeah, I can't wait.
Same.
So obviously it's a bit of probably a question you can't really answer because it's kind of hearsay really, but I mean, would you like to eventually play outside of Portland, maybe even play abroad or across America? Bit of a, like, you know, money dictates that kind of thing, but even in the UK would like to see you. Yes,
most definitely.
Something you'd like to do. Yeah. I remember Gravehuffer, they're the same. We want to play everywhere because they've never played outside of America really. So they're like, yeah, we want to do UK tour, Europe tour.
Let's go.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But not only do you have the COVID thing, you have the Brexit thing, which is a worry because it's making it maybe quite a bit more expensive for bands to come over. But I'm hoping that won't be the case, you know, because we want to see some bands, you know, from abroad as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. The intent is there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. A pent-up aggression is there. So you say you got some music written. when's it likely you start recording? Would you be starting to record after the other guys have finished their things, their other bands? Would you start recording? When would that be, do you think?
Maybe May or June.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I
And
think
just the 3 songs at the moment, or anything else?
Nope. Well, I mean, I have some side stuff that I'm doing, just like some piano pieces, and I have some Doom stuff that I'm playing around with, and yeah, that's about it, though.
What would that be, like a solo thing, or another band, or is it? Yeah.
Well, probably with Jason, but I'm not sure. As far as it could just be, 2 people, because the Doom stuff is so fun to work with, and it's a lot easier to write, I think, than symphonic black metal. But who knows? Who knows?
Oh, that'd be cool. You can get that out, and there's maybe something you don't need to slave over for like ages. Maybe you can just like record it and get it out. Maybe a bit quicker than normal.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for the interview. Really appreciate it. I don't know if there's anything you want to tell anyone, fans on MDR. Pretty much you said what you need to say, but is there anything else you wanted to say?
Just thank you guys. Thank you so much for having us on, and appreciate everyone's support. Stay strong, and hopefully soon we will see you live on the stage. Absolutely. And I'll be putting this up obviously on YouTube. It will go up there. It will be on the Groans Blood Spot. I'll put it on Mixcloud, and I will air it on MDR a week Monday. So yeah. Oh, awesome! On my show. Yeah. That's so awesome. Yeah, lovely to meet you. Finally, we got it together. So lovely to meet you, and nice. Yeah, and lovely to meet you. Have a good day. You too. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Cheers. Yeah, you too. Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.